Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. We're doing another one brand tutorial. I'm back at it again. I'm on this drugstore mission to find the best products from the major drugstore brands that is available at pretty much every retailer. You walk in and you will see these brands. And today we're talking about all of the Maybelline products. I bought everything to do a full face start to finish. So let's go ahead and get started. Starting off with the complexion, I'm going to use their newest skin tint. This is the Superstay Skin Tint with vitamin C. I got the shade 118 and it looks like it's a good match in the bottle, but I did do a swatch test on the side of my face a while back and it did oxidize just a little bit. It could have also been the lighting that played some tricks on my eyes. So even if this doesn't match, we're going to make it work. When I saw it in person compared to the other shades that are a little bit lighter, I feel like I probably should have ordered the lightest or maybe the second lightest. 118 is the third shade in this line, but I'm going to give it a shot. It does have a little bit of a sheen to it, as you will see if you've seen this in person. It does have a bit of a glow to it, so I'm interested to see how this is going to wear over my skincare, which is the only thing that I have on my face at the moment. So we're going to give it a good old shake. I'm going to bounce this into the skin with my dampened Real Techniques Beauty Sponge. And I'm going to push it into the skin. As you can probably see, in person it does look a little bit darker on than what it looks like in the bottle. And I always do this to myself where I match myself incorrectly from drugstore foundations and concealers. But you know what? The coverage is nice. I have to hand it to it. It is nice coverage and it's blending in very, very well. And I did one dropper full onto my palette. Because this is a little bit darker than my actual skin tone, I'm going to take it just a little bit with whatever's left on the sponge down my neck so that it doesn't just stop at my jawline. Up next, we got to do some concealing under the eyes to hide my dark circles. And so I'm going to start off with a brightener. The Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser. I have this in my collection for quite some time and I've used almost half of this already. I love this formula. The color Brightener, which is number 160, is a nice pink shade for brightening that works with a lot of different concealers in my collection. And because I love this formula so much, and I've loved this Age Rewind line for many, many years, I decided to repurchase the Instant Age Eraser Concealer, and I picked up the shade 110, which I believe is the fair shade. I used to use this many years ago, and this was one of my go-tos with the foundation as well. So I'm going to use both of these. I'm going to start with the Brightener 160, and then go in with the fair shade, the number 110. Nothing like twisting up a brand new product for the first time. You got to go slow, because otherwise it's going to be a mess. And I normally just use the applicator to dab it on. I don't like this applicator for blending, but for the application portion, it's fine. It gets the job done. It applies the product really nicely, and it's a nice, soft, spongy tip. And I'm going to use my same Real Techniques sponge to blend this in. Now that my concealer is blended, I do want to do some setting, and I also want to attempt to do some baking. I purchased the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in Fair Light number 10. I have used this powder once before, not this shade. I believe it was the fair shade. That was probably like 4 years ago, and I don't remember if I liked it or not, so I picked it up again. And then I got the Matte and Poreless Pressed Powder in the shade 110 Porcelain. I haven't used this product at all, ever. This has been out for some time, so I feel like the porcelain shade of the powder may help kind of balance and tone down the little bit of discoloration from the foundation match, because it is getting just a little bit darker as it's sitting on my face as I'm filming here today. So I'm going to use the Fit Me Loose to bake and set under the eyes, and then the pressed for the rest of the face. Gotta peel that little seal off. The best way to do it, little tip, use your tweezers, grab it by the end and just yank it off. I'm going to start with the pressed powder, the porcelain, to set my entire face, including this area where I would apply the bake, just because this Fair Light powder does have quite a bit of a yellow tint, and I'm afraid that if I do that powder too heavily for baking, that it's going to be quite dark on top of the skin tint. So I'm going to try to lighten this just a little bit with the pressed powder, and I'm using an e.l.f. Complexion brush for this step. Okay, now that I am layering this powder in a more heavier application for the baking technique, it doesn't seem quite as dark as it looks in the pan or as it looks when I dumped some of it out. And usually with loose powders, you can just dump them into the actual cap so that it's not as messy. And I'm using my sponge to apply this pretty heavily, but you can use a velour puff sponge, a powder puff, anything like that to apply it. So I'm just gonna put a little extra here And I'm just gonna let this hang out for just a couple of minutes and we're gonna move on to the brows. Maybelline makes some really great brow products. I have loved the Express Brow, which is a tinted brow gel, and I've used this for over a year at this point and I really like it. I have the shade medium brown, but the latest addition to my brow collection that is from Maybelline is the Build-A-Brow. This is actually phenomenal. I have the shade ash brown. I use this every single day to fill in little sparse areas, and I've been doing a new technique for my brows, which I will kind of share with you today. I also bought the Express Brow Ultra Slim Brow Pencil. I got the shade medium brown in this to kind of go with the tinted brow gel. I have not used a Maybelline pencil in a long time. I feel like I've been just kind of hanging out with this product from the line, and then when this was added to my collection, I really have only been using this product and some of my other brow pencils. So I'm going to start with a little bit of this just because I personally want to try their formula and see how well this works. Give it a good old comb through, get everybody where they need to be, and we're just going to start filling this in. Here's one brow filled in entirely with the Ultra Slim pencil, and I do like this. I can see myself using it again, and the shade is just right. I did not do this other eye because I wanted to talk you through what I've been doing. I think I'm going to stick to this pencil though today because I do enjoy how it applied and the overall look of the filled in brow. So the technique that I've been doing is I've been starting off with the Maybelline Tinted Brow Gel and combing this through and getting a generous amount and trying to fill in as much as I can with this. Then I will go in with the Build-A-Brow in the ash brown shade to fill in any little gaps, any little sparse areas. And that honestly has been giving me a very natural, very everyday, almost like there's nothing through the brow kind of look. I do like a very full-on brow, as you can see. This is my style, just because my brows do need a lot of help and attention when it comes to filling them in. They're sparse, they're thin, they're gaps. So I do have to use quite a bit of product to make them look more cohesive and even. So I wanted to share that. But I would absolutely recommend that you pick up the Build-A-Brow from Maybelline if you like those brow tinted pens. This is fantastic. A new product to me is the City Bronzer. Can you believe that I have not tried this? This is actually a matte bronzer, which I'm excited to see a matte bronzer at the drugstore because I've purchased a few drugstore bronzers and they all tend to have some level of luminosity, some sheen to it, and I like that this is more matte. And I'm going to start blending this into the skin tint and just adding a little bit because one, I go too heavy with bronzer, and two, my skin tint is a little dark for me, so I'm going to tread softly. This bronzer is actually looking really nice. It blended out very easily and very smooth looking on the skin, so that's a win for me. I really like how this is looking, and I actually like the way the bake turned out with the Maybelline Fit Me. I am glad to have that in my collection so I can continue testing that out. We gotta do some blush now. Maybelline has some powder blushes in the Fit Me line. I picked up one shade, number 25. And again, I don't know what the shade name is. Oh, here it is. It's called Pink Rose. So the blush shade Pink Rose is a matte finish, so I am very excited about that. I love how soft and delicate this pink is. It looks like it might be a little light, but I've tried light colors like this in the past and they've definitely gone on darker. So I'm going to use a fluffy blush brush from Morphe. Just kind of building this up. As you can see, it's showing up, but it's very, very light. I like that. That's really pretty. It's like a soft, like hint of pink. A natural flush. It's almost like a barely there kind of look. And I like it. I think it looks really nice. This video is going to be full of new products to me that I have yet to try. These may be some of your favorites, but they're new and I'm experiencing them for the first time with you on camera. And the next product is definitely one that kind of scares me. It's the Master Chrome Highlighter. It looks like this has a clear sort of window so you can see that really pretty embossed shade there. This is number 250 and it is a metallic highlighter. I'm a little scared because I don't know how intense this is going to be. I'm thinking I'm going to look crazy in like 2 seconds from now because I go overboard with pretty much everything when it comes to makeup. So I'm going to tread softly and use a big fluffy brush. And I'm going to lightly pat and blend a little bit of this. Okay. You know what? That's not too bad. Let's do a little bit. Let's do a little bit more. Phew. I was a little scared. I think maybe this brush is helping me out. I was thinking that I was going to have just this stripe of metallic highlight that I was not going to be able to blend away. But this is actually okay. I'm digging it. I'm going to go and swirl a little bit on the temples here. Go through the brow bone just a little bit. Down the center of the nose, the tip of the nose. And that's a 10 out of 10 for me. Moving on to eyes, I picked up the City Mini palette from Target. This is number 410 Chill Brunch Neutrals. And out of all of them, this one is the one that sort of appealed to me, the one that kind of caught my attention. I have not used Maybelline eyeshadows in a very, very long time. In the comments, let me know who remembers when they did the Nudes of New York palette. That was a couple of years ago, and that was probably like 4 or 5 years ago, I think. I'm not too sure exact the year, but I'm pretty sure it was 4 or 5 years ago. And that was actually a fantastic eyeshadow palette. I remember loving it and using it in so many of my videos back then, but they don't make it anymore. So I picked up one of the smaller size palettes, and we're gonna create a look with this today. I'm gonna start with the lightest ivory shade on a fluffy crease brush, and I'm just gonna sweep that all over my lids from the lash line up to the brow bone. Next up, I'm gonna go down to this color here. This is a soft, light, dusty purple shade that is a matte finish. I'm gonna use that same crease brush, and I'm gonna start blending this into my crease to create some shape and dimension to my eye. And what I'm doing is taking that brush that I used to place the product into the crease, and I'm just going back and forth. I wiped off my brush really well, and I'm trying to sort of diffuse and create more of a water-like finish with this color because it's not going to necessarily match my kind of bright coral kind of watermelon shirt today. So what I'm doing is I'm just going back and forth, working this into the crease and a little bit through the actual lid, but they're blending in very well. There is pigment to these eyeshadows. It's not the most intense pigment, but it's there and you can see it and it's blending out nicely. So I can't really complain because it was just a few bucks. So it's actually not too bad. And that's going to be it for the crease today. And then I'm going to use one of the more shimmery. They look to have a little bit of a subtle glitter sparkle to it. I'm going to take this shade right here, which is more of like a taupey, kind of bronzy, smoky shade on a synthetic brush. And I'm going to put this all over my lid. And I'm going to do a patting motion first to deposit that color. In case there is some fallout, I'm trying to prevent that from happening. So just that tapping motion. And once I have that added to my lid, I can then do that sweeping motion and blend. And there is some pigment to this. It is showing up as I'm building this up. I'm taking my time because I don't want to mess up my concealer that's already been done. So that sort of tapping technique is a helpful tip. Now to clean this up, I'm going to go back to that first crease brush and I'm going to soften this out and blend that into that soft, light, dusty purple shade that I had in my crease. Let's brighten this lid up just a little bit more by layering a little bit of the champagne shade from the palette with the same brush. I just wiped it off. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that, tapping off the excess, and then I'm just going to pat that right over the top just to lighten this a little bit. I'm going to move to the lower lash line. I'm going to take that light, dusty purple shade with a more precise pencil style brush just to add a little bit of color and definition to the lower lashes. And I'm going to make sure that it meets up to the outer crease area. Same brush, I'm going to take the same lid shade and I'm going to add that as well. For my inner corner highlight, I want to brighten it a little bit. So I'm going to take the light matte ivory and I'm going to mix a little bit of that champagne color with a small brush. And I'm going to use that to illuminate and brighten and open up the eyes in the inner corner. Time for some eyeliner and mascara. Maybelline has quite a few different options for eyeliner. There's pencils, sharpenable ones, ones that twist up like this one here. This is the Smokey Tattoo Studio Gel Pencil, and I have this shade, Smoky Brown. But I also picked up, for old time's sake, the gel liner, also from Maybelline, in the brown shade. It comes with like a little brush that you could use if you want to create a wing liner, a thin line. I have not used a gel liner in such a long time. I remember years ago when I first got married, which was a long, long time ago, I used to use a really dark kind of foresty green from Maybelline in this ink little lasting drama line, and I used to love it. I used to do such a thick line with it, and I remember sitting on the actual counter in my bathroom vanity and getting really close to the mirror and doing this thick green forest green eyeliner, and it was just my thing. I just liked it, and it was Maybelline, and it's kind of funny to circle back around all these years. That was probably a good 14 years ago. So I have the brown shade, and I'm excited to have a gel liner in my collection. Because I want to use that gel liner as my main eyeliner today, I'm going to use the Tattoo Studio Smokey liner. That's the Twist Up Automatic Pencil for my tight line, because I want to try this formula and see how well this goes on. And it's very, very creamy. There's good and bad. It's pigmented and creamy, so I'll give it that. However, it's making my eyes water, and it actually transferred onto my contact lens, and I think it just could be me not having experience with this sort of smoky eyeliner. This formula is so soft that maybe that's part of why it's transferring. So I'm not going to knock it just yet. I just don't like the fact that it's on my contact lens. And also something to note, I do have some eyeshadow dust in my eye from these eyeshadows, the City Mini palettes. They're very dusty and have a lot of kick up. So I'm not a huge fan of that aspect. I do like the shades, and I think it's a nice soft kind of smoky look for daytime. And I would try it again, maybe using a damp brush first and then applying these shades so that it's not falling out into my eyes. But at least it's in my eyes and not underneath where it's messing up my concealer. So, you know, you gotta find the wins where you can. Now let's go in with that gel liner. And I'm using an angled brush, not the one that came with the gel liner. I prefer a little bit more control, so I'm using an angled brush from ColourPop. Let's finish off the eyes with the Maybelline Sky High. They do have a tinted primer, which I am so surprised to see from the drugstore. I've used this once before, and it didn't really make a huge difference, if I'm being honest, with the mascara that I use, which happens to be from CoverGirl. But I'm hopeful that using this primer with the matching Sky High mascara will be the duo combo that's going to give me amazing lashes. And I picked up the Sky High mascara in the True Brown shade because I'm not familiar with brown mascaras. I've only tried it once before, not this one, but a different brand. And I actually am still curious if I'm going to like the brown mascara trend, because they are out there and I've never tried them. Lashes are done. I do like this two-step combo. So I mentioned earlier how I use this with another drugstore mascara, and I didn't really see any additional benefits. So what I'm gonna do is try this mascara on its own to see if what I'm getting right now is because this primer is actually helping, or if this primer is just an extra step, an extra layer on my lashes. More mascara, the more you add, depending on the formula, can tend to weigh things down. I do like this formula. I do like how rich and dark the brown is, and it looks almost black from a distance. I feel like I can see my lashes defined, lengthened, and separated. So I do like this combo so far, but I'm gonna try this on its own. I'm gonna report back and share that information with you in a separate video. I did try to take the smudges off my contact off camera because my eyes, I could feel that there was something bothering me. So going back to that smoky liner, I would not tight line with this. So far, I can tell you that. This is not a tight lining liner for me personally, just because I'm a contact lens wearer. So I will use this, again, just as my main liner because it is creamy and it is pigmented, and it went on very easily without pulling and tugging. So a lot of good things, a lot of positive about the liner, but just not liking how it's in my eye, okay? So moving on to the lips, I have a couple of products. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this, all right? Need I say more? The lifter glosses and these vinyl lip products. I haven't tried any of these, ever. Ever, ever, ever. Can you believe that? Where have I been, you're probably asking, right? That's a good question. Lexi, where have you been? I don't know where I've been, but I'm here and I'm trying them out. I bought a bunch of these, and I bought several of these because I want to try them all. Now the question is, where do I start? Because this is long wearing, this has a glossy finish, and these are just typical glosses. Or so I think. I don't know. This could be mind-blowing, and these could be my new favorite longwear lip. I don't know. I've never done a longwear lip product with a gloss finish. Like, that just blows my mind that this is even out there, that it exists, because I'm a gloss finish girl. I love a glossy lip, so this is what I have. I can't even believe it. I'm beyond excited to try these. I do have a lip liner, though. The Color Sensational Lip Shaping Liner in Bare Beige. So I think I want to maybe try lining my lips, maybe not filling them in because we might try these lip products out. I don't know where we're gonna go with it, but let's start with the lip liner first. So here is a look at the lip liner I've lined and filled. For review purposes, I wanted to show you what this liner looks like. The three lifter glosses that I have are Gummy Bear, which is a light kind of milky pink shade. I bought the Bubblegum, which seems to be like a really pretty watermelon color, which honestly will go really great with my shirt today. And I picked up the shade Ice, which is a very light, very pale, milky pink, but there's a subtle kind of sheen to this gloss. I'm not sure if it's going to transfer on the lips like that, but it looks really pretty, like a nice topper type of gloss. I'm excited. So let's do this bold one. Why not? Ooh. And they smell like vanilla? Oh, they smell kind of like vanilla. Let's go for that bright shade. This is the Bubblegum shade. Ooh, that's so pretty. Okay. Yay. This is like the perfect color for my shirt. Yes. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yep, I've been sleeping too long. I'm awake. Consider me awake, you guys. These are actually very comfortable. And it does have quite a bit of pigment. I thought it was just gonna be more of a kind of light tint, but over this lip liner, this is beautiful and it goes perfect with today's shirt. Not so much with the eyes, but who cares? This is really nice. I've taken that off because I need to try one of these for sure. I bought the shade Rogue, which looks to be, again, another color that could go with my shirt. And then Coy, which looks to be a little bit more kind of like a cooler, purpley kind of mauve. That may actually go better with this eye look. Not so much with my shirt, yet again. I didn't plan very well today, but you know what? Let's just try it. I'm not picking up too much of a scent, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with the shade Coy, and let's just apply this and see how this looks. Ooh, that's really purpley. Okay. So here's that Coy shade with a little bit of the residual lip liner on still from earlier, the Bare Beige, and I think this is a little too purple for my preference, and it's a little too purple for my shirt. The whole look, I'm not really feeling this shade specifically. I think with a softer eye, maybe just a little bit of liner and lashes, I think this would be better. But I think I'm going to try maybe another lifter gloss. So this is my end result for the lip. I took this off as quickly as I could because this actually does stay on, and I was surprised at how much rubbing I had to do. And even then, I could not get all of this off. So you do still see a little bit of that purple, and I actually like the way it looks. And then what I ended up doing was I took a little bit of each of these lifter glosses, mixed them onto my makeup palette, applied them with a brush on top, just because I've been scrubbing so hard on my lips and they need a little bit of moisture and a little bit more of a cushiony feel. I do like this end result. A little hint of this kind of purpley shade is really pretty. I just feel like just this on its own is just too intense with my eyes, and also maybe clashing with my shirt today. Again, that just goes back to me not properly planning my outfit for today's look. But you know what? Who cares? It's makeup. I'm just here to play with makeup and share my thoughts and opinions with you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that it was helpful to see some of these in action. I am definitely going to be using quite a few of these in my makeup routine going forward. The lifter glosses and that lip liner is great. I'm going to tread softly with those vinyl lips. And I'm going to try the skin tint again. Maybe picking up a lighter shade might be better for me. And I think I may like the overall look of my complexion had I used a shade that matched me a little bit better. But I do like the bronzer, the blush, the highlight. The brow products are great. The City Mini palette, if I'm being honest, it's one of those take it or leave it. It's not the worst eyeshadow formula to try from the drugstore, but it's not my favorite. I'm just being completely honest with you guys. I'm going to list and link everything down below in the description box for you. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this in the future. We are doing a lot of drugstore content coming up, so buckle up. I'm coming in with lots of great gems, and I'm having such a good time discovering new products, new favorites, and sharing those tips and tricks with you along the line, product recommendations. I hope that these drugstore videos are helpful. Let me know what you think. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite Maybelline product is. Thanks for watching. Take care, you guys, and we'll talk very soon. Bye-bye.